David Begnaud joins me now from San Juan. David, I find this incredible to believe, and I know most Americans will as well. It's taken 3 weeks to restore only 15% of the power to the island. What is taking so long?
Look at maybe 10 months to a year, Vlad, before the entire island has power. This power grid was weak and dilapidated to begin with. The governor predicted the entire island would lose power. He was right. And even though it may shock people on the mainland, this is just a part of life in Puerto Rico.
You left the island for just a little bit last week. You've been covering it since the very beginning. I want to know if you've seen even some noticeable changes since you've returned.
Yes, in the way that there's more traffic on the road, there's more people trying to get back to what is a sense of normalcy. This generator that's running right here is what's allowing this shopkeeper to power the lights, right? People have said, we don't have the profit margins to survive 6 months without power. We can't do it. Our businesses will collapse, and the governor is warning that the economy will collapse. In and around San Juan, more people are out and about. But what is staggering is that 20 days after this storm made landfall, people are not getting the food and water that they need to survive. There's a group of veterans on the western part of the island who have essentially put out an SOS saying we're veterans of the United States military and we are running into red tape, and are finding situations on the western part of the island where people are getting 6 bottles of water and a few snacks. A family is getting that. And it's supposed to last them for a day, maybe even more. I talked with the governor, and look, the guy has the best intentions, it's clear. But he does not have what he needs to adequately serve the people on this island. That's just plain and simple. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Now, listen, FEMA says they're bringing in food and water, but you get this kind of criticism. They had 30,000 FEMA personnel in Houston for Hurricane Harvey. They've got 16,000 here. So you have people in government asking, why can't you get more FEMA personnel here? You've got the mayor of San Juan who's saying, I'm getting more support from the private sector than I am from the federal government. And I want you to look at this pile of trash. This isn't just a pile of trash, right? This is a disaster of concern. Why? Because this contributes to the spread of disease. But it's also causing more major problems in the city of San Juan as it deals with flooding. Here's why. They've already removed 40 million pounds of debris, but they haven't removed debris everywhere. You know what that's doing? It's clogging up the drains and leading to more flooding from just random thunderstorms that will fall. And the flooding is up to your waist because of debris that's clogging the drains. Now, the mayor has said, listen, she made a conscious decision to focus more on serving people with food and water than cleaning the streets. But you can appreciate that the task here is not just taking care of the basic needs, you also got to take care of the logistical needs because it's causing even more problems.
David, what you're showing us and what you're reporting is the reality there in Puerto Rico. People that are still without days, weeks after this hurricane hit. And as you know, the mayor of San Juan has been very critical of the Trump administration's efforts to bring aid to the island. The FEMA director, Brock Long, said that she's been filtered out. Give us the reality of what the mayor is seeing, how she feels, and how the people of San Juan feel about this.
Well, first off, I asked the mayor what her reaction was to Brock Long saying she had been filtered out. And she said, listen, you can filter me out all you want, but if you think I'm going to change my tune because I'm not saying what you want me to say, you're wrong. This is a tenacious woman, okay? This is a woman who seems to be undistracted, whether the president is calling her out on Twitter and criticizing her, or whether she's getting into a squabble with the governor of Puerto Rico when it comes to meeting the basic needs. She is charging ahead. She's getting a lot of help. The speaker of the New York City Council is here. The speaker is Puerto Rican, and she's brought a delegation from New York. I think what's interesting, Vlad, is as I walk into the Coliseum in San Juan, a lot of the supplies that are there, sure, there's a lot of FEMA aid, but there's also the majority of it, I would say, is coming from non-governmental organizations, private organizations that are bringing in relief. Listen, let me sort of illustrate for you and give you some facts. We paint the broad stroke and say not enough people are getting the aid, but here's what it looks like. There are 350,000 people who live in the capital of San Juan. The mayor says half of those people need food and water, and they need food and water going forward. She's being given aid by FEMA, and when she opens a FEMA box, there's enough for you and I, grown people, adults, to probably eat breakfast, lunch. But after that, you run out. You need another box. So she's saying what I am getting is not enough to keep people satisfied for a week, right? That's the real issue here. Yeah, sure, there's food and water coming on the island from FEMA, but it's not enough to keep people feeling fulfilled in terms of satisfied and getting the nutrients that they need on a long-term basis.
I think, David, as you know, the mayor wearing a shirt that said nasty a couple of days ago in response to something President Trump said about her tells us all we need to know about what you just said, which is that she doesn't really care what people are saying about her. She just wants her people to have some semblance of normalcy returned to them.
Yeah, and let me say this to you, Vlad. There's not a whole lot of people talking about politics around here. Nobody's talking about Donald Trump, or for that matter, the squabble between Mr. Trump and the mayor of San Juan. People are simply talking about, if I don't get power at my store, I'm starting to run out of diesel fuel, my business is going to collapse. People are afraid if this economy collapses. One man said, if you think we have a problem now, wait until you see the humanitarian crisis when the economy collapses. The governor says they are on the brink of a liquidity crisis. The governor says one estimate is that damage assessment here, the damage caused, could be as high as $90 billion. Right? So the sense of urgency here cannot be overstated. But let me also give credit. There are boots on the ground. The U.S. military's got a large presence here. So does FEMA. The FBI is here. Every governmental agency is here. But for whatever reason, it does not appear to be enough.
David Begnaud, bearing witness in San Juan, Puerto Rico, as you have been since the very beginning. My friend, thank you very much for that reporting.